Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody is having an awesome weekend so far. Students, we're looking at IELTS speaking part 2 in this class. And this cue card is focusing on house rules for those of you who are unfamiliar with the IELTS speaking. The speaking is a 12 to 15 minute interview. It has 3 parts. The second part, you get some questions on one specific topic, and then you have to prepare for 1 minute and speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Today's topic will be a good rule in your home. Everybody, this is a members chat class. That means in order to join the chat for this class, you need to be a channel member. You can become a channel member by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. Welcome Anna, hi Fuang, hi Romelia. Nice to see several of our members in the class ready to learn. Hi Nurbanu, nice to see you here. Great. Love back at you. All right, everyone, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They contain all of our materials, our practice exams, videos, interactive course, and much, much more. This is aehelp.com. Click this big red button just above my head to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're IDP affiliates, a British Council Partners IELTS Test Registration Center. I'm a British Council agent. We help thousands of students improve their English, their communication, and their IELTS scores every single month. When you click that join button, use the code P29 for an extra 10% discount. The price is different in different countries. You can pay with Visa, credit cards, PayPal, Google Pay, and you can pay with Shopify or directly through YouTube as well. General IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. Same idea. Click the big red button there, and you're good to go. Students, again, the apps are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Those apps will link to the websites. How Thu, welcome to our membership once again. Good to have you on board. Everybody, if you decide to get the premium package through Shopify, then you can use this link here. I'll put it into the chat. Just make sure to send me an email so that I can activate your account. We are looking for editors to join our team, competent editors, especially in DaVinci Resolve. So you can also send your CV if you like video editing to me or my colleagues as well. These are the emails here, adrian@aehelp.com and admin at aehelp.com. All right, everybody, so just a quick heads up, we've got speaking part 2 right now, and then we've got speaking part 3 for everybody. That speaking part 3 live class in 2 hours will be through the website. So create a membership on the website, and then on the website, when you go to your My Student account, you'll find all these goodies, and you'll find this join live class. So in 2 hours that button will become active and you can join the speaking part 3 live class there. Okay. All right. Romelia, you got to send an email. If you want to be a channel moderator, that would be fantastic. Just send me an email so we can have a short meeting and I can give you some more details on that. Okay. All right, everyone. We've got a Zoom class for our premium members tomorrow as well at 15 o'clock UTC. I sent out the link to our premium website members. Those are the website members, so make sure to check for that. Okay, if you did not get that that Zoom link, then just let me know. Next week will be the same. We'll have lots of live classes, including some classes on our website and through Zoom for our website premium members as well. Okay, there are videos for IELTS always here on YouTube, and we're always creating new ones, so check those out. Students, let's get into this IELTS speaking. The speaking part 2 cue card. This is what we're looking at here today, and we'll get right into it. Our members will have a chance to answer this cue card as well. Welcome, Juan. We've got lots of members now in the class. That is fantastic. Okay, everybody, so it is speaking, so make sure to speak and repeat. Copy what I say, copy how I say it. In the IELTS exam, your examiner will say that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. The very, very first step is read the questions slowly and carefully. They are not just a guide, they are a guide, and you should answer all the questions on the cue card clearly to get those high scores. Online, on the internet, even on some of the websites, like even I think on British Council, it says these questions are a guide for your 2-minute response. It's a little bit misleading. If you go off topic, if you do not answer these questions, it's very hard to get a good score. So you should be thinking to answer these questions clearly. The examiner is familiar with the cue card, the questions, and they are paying attention for those answers. No matter how much they smile or stare through their spectacles, they are looking for those answers. Okay, so read it carefully. Describe a good rule in your home. What is the rule? Why did you or someone in your home make this rule? How does it affect life at home? And what is your opinion about it? Okay, again, you've got 1 minute, so you might as well skim over that one more time real fast. Describe a good rule in your home. What is the rule? Why did you or someone in your home make this rule? How does it affect life at home? And what is your opinion about it? Okay. All right, Hathu, you should have received an email with that Zoom link. If you did not, please send me an email, and then I can send you that link in a separate email again. Okay. All right. For tomorrow's Zoom class. All right, everybody. So we've read this cue card twice, and as many of you know, this cue card in part 2 is generally going to be on one of the following 5 topics. It's going to be about either a person, a place, object, an idea, or an event. And the speaking part 2 video that we just uploaded about 10 days ago, I think, this one here, actually talks exactly about that, these 5 different topics. So I'll put that link in the chat again. If some of you are like, whoa, what? Person, place, object, idea, event? To get a better idea, check out that video. That video talks about all 5. We're not going to focus on all 5 in this class, because in this class we're focusing on this cue card. And Romelia says this is an idea, and Anna agrees. Okay. Anna is already 1 step ahead, says washing hands every time when we go to the kitchen. Okay. We'll get back to that, Anna. By the way, how is the volume, everybody? I've made a couple of adjustments here in OBS, and I just want to make sure that it's not too loud and that it's not too quiet. So give me some feedback on the volume. If it's too loud, let me know. I can turn it down a bit. And if it's good, then we'll just move forward. Yeah, Fuang Prasanna say it's good. Prasanna says it's perfect. All right. Okay, cool. We all have different settings, right? Everybody's got their volume and different settings too, I'm sure. Chen, thank you. All right, everybody. So, let's dig in. Yes, this is definitely an idea. Okay, this cue card. Now, when you discuss an idea, then there is a specific way to talk about an idea. Okay. And before you sit your IELTS exam, it is very, very important that you get familiar with the necessary details to clearly talk about people, places, objects, ideas, and events. So again, in your premium course on the website, in the full course, in the speaking section, I believe it's lesson B. We'll take a look here. Yeah, see, it's got these descriptions here for you, and for those of you that have it, do go through these cue cards. So it says here, you know, there's 3 parts to it. You got to talk about personality, appearance, actions, and then it even gives you some useful vocabulary like tall, short, skinny, fat, bald, long hair, and lots more. Here we're talking about an idea, of course, so the rest of them are in there. Check it out in your course. Students, do go through that course. I sometimes feel like people are not taking enough time to go through all of those, and they will help you get a better band score. Again, for those of you just joining in, the websites that we use are aehelp.com and gltshelp.com for general IELTS. Okay, so I'm looking for the chat here. When we talk about an idea, everybody, what do we include? So how should we structure talking about an idea, especially to a stranger? The IELTS examiner is a stranger. They don't know you. They don't know your ideas, your way of speaking. So part 2 is like a small presentation that has to be exceptionally clear and easy to understand. It's kind of like public speaking. We put a video up there about this as well. So here you basically have one person in your audience instead of 20 or 50 or 100, but it's the same idea. You're public speaking. Okay. Thanks, Chen, for putting the URL in there as well. I appreciate that. Okay, so when we talk about an idea, first of all, we should talk about the description of the idea. So what is it? We should talk about the time of the idea. So when did this idea appear, or when did it manifest, right? Fuang, we got to talk about the reasons. We don't have to talk about the attendees or the activities. That's more kind of an event or a place. Okay. Yeah, the origin, Anna, so where it came from. Yeah, so that's kind of along with the time, right? So it's a description, it's the time of the idea, it's an origin of the idea, and then there's another really important one, and this one a lot of people forget, and it's actually a great way to give more details and improve your band score. Okay. When you go to your IELTS exam, you should have these points in your head very clearly. So this should not take you time in the 1-minute preparation. You should be able to think about this immediately and right away start thinking of some possible choices, right? Kevin, Bowie, good to have you here. Okay, Kevin, yes, it's the requirements. It's the requirements of the idea. What do you need for this idea to work? Okay, so Anna, if you're talking about, washing your hands before you go to the kitchen, what do you need to make that work? Do you need a little sign beside the door on the kitchen that says, wash your hands? They have that in many kitchens and restaurants. Staff must wash hands before entering kitchen, right? So do you need a little sign? Do you need a sink just outside the kitchen? You need warm water. You need some soap. You need fresh, clean towels that are always there, so people are washing their hands and drying their hands. Right, and Romelia says the consequences. Well, yeah, consequences, the outcomes. outcomes. So the results of the idea. You might, in some case, Romelia, think about consequences as well with the outcomes, like what happens if you do not follow the rule, right? So in Anna's case, if people do not wash their hands before entering the kitchen, it can lead to people becoming quite ill, especially these days with a lot of nasty bugs going around like COVID, the flu, and other pathogens, right? So the consequences of not having this idea or of not implementing the idea is possible as well, sure. Right, so the outcomes, having clean hands, being hygienic, staying healthy, right? Yeah, so the consequence would be the opposite idea. And then potentially some improvements. Right, so how could you make it even better? So maybe Anna says we've improved on this idea by putting organic, liquid, hypoallergenic soap out for everybody, so people with sensitive skin don't have dry hands if they're going to the kitchen often or frequently washing their hands, right? So you can improve the idea. Okay, now comes the fun part, and this is that very, very important step 3, which is think of at least 2 to 3 ideas, maybe even 4 or 5, right? So, for example, Anna said washing hands before entering the kitchen is a house rule. For me, taking shoes off at the door is a house rule. It's a sacred rule in certain countries like Japan. Also, another one is, give me some more, everybody. There's a lot of house rules. People tend to have. I think it would be challenging to find a person who does not have some rule in the house. Fuang says respecting the elderly in the family, especially the elderly, or respecting other members. Fuang, what does that mean? Okay, so try to be more specific. How do you respect members in the family? Okay, so Kevin Bui says speaking in turn. Yes, so not over talking and not interrupting others in the home. Okay, Hao Thu says taking turns to do housework. There's another way to say housework, Ha. Do you know what that word is? It would be better to use that word here instead of housework is okay. You can use that if you talk about this. I would definitely, if I'm your examiner, listen to that very specific word that we use. Okay, Fuang says not being rude or hurting the elderly. Try to think positively, Fuang, like being helpful, mindful, and polite with the elderly. Okay, Ha, that's right, chores, very good. So taking turns doing chores. Chores is housework. Okay, absolutely. Okay, how about this one? No foul language. Okay, we also say cursing. No cursing in the home. Okay. No foul language. Anahita says, how about my idea? Drinking homemade lemonade early in the morning before breakfast. As a house rule for everybody? Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah, there's drink lemonade in the morning as a cleanse, I'm guessing. Sure, that could be one. Juan says, don't annoy other family members with loud phones like music, video, speakers. Okay, so volume control. Sure. Yeah, that's a rule in a lot of families, especially with bigger families where everybody's got a phone, a TV, a computer, a speaker, and we want to make sure that one person isn't blasting heavy metal while other people are starting to or trying to study. Romelia says, what about my idea? Absolutely. Romelia says, don't use somebody's belongings without asking permissions. So ask permission to use others' belongings. Yeah, that's a good one too. So we've got a lot of great ideas here, everybody. And any one of these, I think, could be a good house rule to discuss in the 1 to 2 minutes. You just have to think about the origins. So here, I'm going to go with another one, clean up your mess. I'm going to go with that one for today. I've got 2 little kids, so we'll go with that one. Clean up your mess. All right. So here, the notes, right? Take useful notes. You have that 1 minute. Now, 1 minute is not a lot of time. And so we can't really write too many notes, but I'm just going to go with toys and clothes. For not cloths, it's a common spelling mistake, clothes. Even I make that sometimes. So toys and clothes, okay, that's the description of it. And then the time will be last year. So the time, I'm not writing last year because I'm going to remember that. Now I'm just writing T because I don't have in 1 minute enough time to write description and time. So I'm just writing T for that. So kids are 3 and 7. So I'm showing you right now the correct steps in your note taking in that 1 minute time to get details that you might not think about or that will help you expand and talk more. What I encourage you to do, we've got a lot of members in here, which is fantastic. Do the same, okay? So pick one of your ideas and go through it the same way. I'm going to progress at a nice steady pace here so that we can really hear as many of your ideas through the website shortly as possible, okay? All right, so requirements, training, boxes, okay, totes, I believe, spelled like that, yep, totes, okay, and then consequences. Okay, those are the requirements. Outcome, teach, develop, time or save time, energy. Okay, improvements, teamwork. All right, so that's kind of what comes to mind for me with this house rule of clean up your mess. All right, now I have this will make more sense once I give my response, but for right now just think about this. So the description is toys, clothes. The time of this idea is 3 and 7. The requirements, training, boxes, totes, consequences. The outcome, teach, develop, save time, energy, and the improvements is teamwork. Okay. Now, one word, teamwork. I have got another step here. Okay. So hopefully you still have about 5 to 10 seconds for this last step, step 5. It's also a very important step. Remember what I said last week. The 2 most important steps are step 3 and step 5. So thinking of multiple ideas, so you choose the one that you can easily talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. And step 5, so you can maximize your time and be fluent. What's that step 5? Prasanta, nice to have you in the class. We've got so many members. It's fantastic. I love it. Okay, so what's the next step here? The last step that we can execute in this 60-second preparation time. And certainly a very important one. That's right, Fuang, you are on the ball, money. It is to think about your first sentence. So think of your first sentence using the topic of the card. Okay, so in this case, the topic of the card is describe a good rule in your home. Okay, so good rule in your home. All right, so here's my first sentence. In my house, an excellent rule that I expect both of my children, my wife, and myself to follow is clean up your mess. This means that each one of us is responsible, R would be correct, are responsible for putting away any objects that we have taken out to use for entertainment or tasks. To be clear, I mean when the kids take out their toys, for instance, to play in the living room, they are expected to put them away neatly after they have finished using them. Okay. Now again, everybody, this is speaking, so make sure to speak, copy, repeat what I say, copy my pronunciation, my intonation. If you happen to catch some interesting expressions or words, by all means, write them down and ask me for their definitions, okay? If you're wondering what it means, there's a very good chance that one of your peers or another viewer is also wondering what it means, okay? So just speak and repeat. Now, here, what's happening is the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. So thinking about the cue card, thinking about the way to discuss ideas, I now put together this really clear response. And if I were to get stuck, I would just simply reference the cue card questions and my notes, and then continue giving more details, okay? You don't necessarily have to go in the order of description, time, requirements, outcomes, improvements. It is good to stick to that as much as possible, but if you move around a little bit, it's fine as long as you're joining your ideas clearly, okay? All right, Anna, I can see that you are off to a great start there as well. Anna says, in my home, an amazing rule is that everyone has to wash their hands before going to the kitchen. Very good, Anna. Anahita says, an important rule in my home that everyone should obey is drinking a glass of lemonade prepared either by me or my mom early morning, half an hour before breakfast. This law was implemented by my mom so that our body can function physiologically well. Anahita, that is a fantastic start to this speaking part 2 response. So absolutely, students, go ahead and write down your responses, and very shortly you will have a chance to say your responses as well. Okay, here's my response so far. I'm just going to keep moving forward with it. Follow with me, or simultaneously focus on your pick, your choice, and develop your idea. Okay, here we go. In my house, an excellent rule that I expect both my children, my wife, and myself to follow is clean up your mess. This means that each one of us are responsible for putting away any objects that we have taken out to use for entertainment or tasks. To be clear, I mean when the kids take out their toys, for instance, to play in the living room, they're expected to put them away neatly after they have finished using them. We clearly defined and regimented this rule in the home just these last few months, since my younger daughter has turned 3. It's actually not true. She's not quite 3 yet, and we don't have this rule yet, but I'm molding it, shaping it a little bit here. It is a rule for the future, no doubt. Okay, my older daughter follows the rule. Since my younger daughter has turned 3, the reason I'm explaining that is because the IELTS exam is not about the truth, so you can bend it a little bit as long as that helps you to add context or add information. I could say the truth that maybe it was last year when my older daughter turned 7, but I don't want to overcomplicate. Like, oh, but my younger daughter, she doesn't understand yet, so she doesn't follow the rule. That would go off topic, okay? So, has turned 3, and she is now able to put away some of her toys. Since having this rule, our home has been tidy, and it has saved everyone energy, time, and stress. In order to implement this need for everyone to be organized and clean up after themselves, we made sure to teach our children through example how to achieve this. And we also bought totes and other furniture like toy boxes, so that there are places to stow items. Okay. I'm surprised nobody's asked me about vocabulary. I've used a few words there that are not common everyday necessarily words, but hey, if you know them, that's great. If not, you should create a list and ask me and say, hey, what's this, this, and this? Okay. All right. Now, at this point, I might just take a quick glance at the notes and also at the cue card to see that I'm answering all of those questions and using those details. Okay. Why did you or someone in your home make this rule? How does it affect life? What is your opinion about it? Okay. So maybe I haven't answered this. Why did you or someone in your home? So I will do that now. The reason that my wife and I decided on this rule is because it was taking up too much of our time to clean up after our children, and it was becoming a safety hazard as we were tripping over toys in the middle of the living room and kitchen. Now, if I'm at home and I'm practicing and I'm writing down my response, I would definitely go back and see how I can improve my sentences. So in this case, I would use a correlative conjunction if I had a second chance to say this. So the reason that my wife and I decided on this rule is not only because it was taking up too much of our time to clean up after our children, but also because it's a better emphasis. it was becoming a safety hazard, tripping over the toys. Okay. All right, very good. My mom has set a rule for my whole family that each member is scheduled to do chores so that others have more time to relax after a hard work day. Very good, Hathu. Think about the requirements. I have a good idea of what it is. Okay. So we also have some consequences in place to make sure that this rule is followed, such as no TV for a week if toys are left in a mess unattended. Okay. All right, so now it looks like I'm answering all the questions on the card. What is your opinion about it? Teach, develop, save time, teamwork. There's definitely a lot of information, detail there that I can continue adding. I'll try to wrap that up and put it all into kind of a concise finish. So I think this is an excellent rule to have in the home, not only because it provides a safe and clean environment, but it is also a fundamental step towards development and independence for our children to be organized and successful in later life. Perhaps one way we can make it even better is to encourage more teamwork between my children once my younger daughter becomes a couple years older. Okay, and then I'm done. So again, when you're at home, read through it. This is about 1 to 2 minutes when spoken fluently. I'm going to go through it. Again, if you catch some words, some phrases, expressions, idioms that are new and that you want me to clarify further, just ask, okay? Everybody good so far? Is everybody following me? We're all on board? Yes? You're all good? I definitely want to make sure I'm not losing you at any point here or going too fast. All right, so I'll go through the card and then we'll go through the response, and prepare yourselves, viewers, members, because you will be coming up next. So it will be your turn to volunteer and talk about your house rules. Fuang, thank you for responding. I appreciate that. Makes me feel like I'm interacting and not just talking to a lens. All right, here we go, everyone. So IELTS speaking part 2, cue card. Describe a good rule in your home. What is the rule? Why did you or someone in your home make this rule? How does it affect life at home? What is your opinion about it? Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. In my house, an excellent rule that I expect both of my children, my wife, and myself to follow is clean up your mess. This means that each one of us are responsible for putting away any objects that we have taken out to use for entertainment or tasks. To be clear, I mean, when the kids take out their toys, for instance, to play in the living room, they are expected to put them away neatly after they've finished using them. We clearly defined and regimented this rule in the home just these last few months since my younger daughter has turned 3 and she's now able to put away some of her toys. Since having this rule, our home has been tidy and it has saved everyone energy, time, and stress. In order to implement this need for everyone to be organized and clean up after themselves, we made sure to teach our children through example. how to achieve this, and we also bought totes and other furniture like toy boxes so that there are places to stow items. The reason that my wife and I decided on this rule is not only because it was taking up too much of our time to clean up after our children, but also because it was becoming a safety hazard as we were tripping over toys in the middle of the living room and kitchen. We also have some consequences in place to make sure that this rule is followed, such as no TV for a week if toys are left in a mess, unattended. I think this is an excellent rule to have in our home, not only because it provides a safe and clean environment, but it is also a fundamental step towards development and independence for our children to be organized and successful in later life. Perhaps one way we can make it even better is to encourage more teamwork between my children once my younger daughter becomes a couple years older. Okay, your 2 minutes is up. I will stop you there. And we will now continue to part 3. For this part, I will ask you some more questions related to your response. Now, part 3, remember, students will be also in a little bit. That will be on the website, that live class. But for now, we'll go to the live, the website, and you'll do some volunteering so you can practice answering this part 2 cue card. Okay, everyone? So the website is aehelp.com. Go there and create a free or paid account. Welcome, Ghazi. Nice to see you in the class. Everybody, great. Starting 2024 strong. Studying, good. Okay, so we go to the website. For those of you who don't know where to go, it's this here. It's aehelp.com. Join the premium version by clicking the big red button. It's just right there above my head. And you can also create a demo version. Try it for free. Go to your My Student account. In your My Student account, you have lots and lots of tools. By the way, we have implemented Test Glider's tool for an extra 8 AI-powered practice exams. Check that out. It's really good. Okay, and for premium members, you might want to add that. That's one of the add-ons. Okay, for right now, we're going to the student partner speaking. So this one right here. And once you are there, accept the terms, use headphones, microphone if possible. And you will see a lot of your classmates in here. Manikanta, Huyen, Ivan, Anahita, Thu, Kulwinder, Danielle. Nice to see all of you. Okay. And you'll see me in here as well. You're going to see me in here as master. It's all capital letters, easy to identify. Just click on the blue envelope next to my handle and then send me a message. Now make sure that you enable all of the permissions. Sometimes students are saying, oh, I can't hear you, and then I see some of the permissions that are allowed or not allowed, and it seems like some students they have ad blockers or pop-up blockers. Certain websites, especially websites like these that are quite complicated and use chat systems, you can't have a pop-up blocker, okay? Because certain elements need to use Java, need to pop up to be able to establish connections. So pay attention to that, everybody, okay? All right, let's start at the bottom of the list right now. Kevin, one of our channel members here. Kevin, are you ready? I'm kind of shouting at you because I still have my caps lock on, but why not? Right, are you ready? Caps lock is off now. So Kevin, if you're there.
Hello.
Hi, Kevin, how are you?
I'm feeling better now than the last time we talked. Thank you so much for asking, as always, Mr. Adrian.
All right, great. So you've got a little pep back in your step, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, good. Do you know this expression, pep in your step?
I don't, but you
can figure it out, right? Yeah, it's like this. I'll put it on the screen. Pep in my step. When you have pep in your step, it means you're kind of optimistic and energetic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you can say it like this, Kevin. I know you have excellent vocabulary, and that's why I'm, throwing curveballs at you that I know you might not have heard before. So you can say this. Try saying this. Repeat after me. I've got some pep back in my step.
I've got some pep back in my step.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look it up.
I've got some pep back in my step. It means you've kind of regained your confidence, your optimism, your energetic outlook on life. Okay, Kevin, let's get into this part 2 cue card. Are you ready?
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay, I'll just shift this down a bit so you can hopefully see the whole cue card, and then I will start you off. So that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, and then 1 to 2 minutes to respond. Describe a good rule in your home. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
So in my house, there's this brilliant idea of people having to speak in turn when we are talking together as a family. And this idea actually came to happen about a couple of weeks ago when we started to notice that whenever we talked to each other, and we always got into like a heated debate because everybody was like speaking out of turn. So we either raised voice at each other because we wanted to direct everybody's attention to our talks, or we got into maybe like a shouting match. We always ended up like with a frown on our face, sulking or even scoffing. So in order for this idea to materialize, we have decided that we implement this procedure of holding and passing around like a talking pillow. So anyone who has the talking pillow in their hands can speak. And ever since this idea has been in effect, we have noticed some welcome changes. Like everybody has been able to exercise not only patience but also composure. Like we're able to speak much more calmly with each other, and we also have more time to arrange our thoughts so that when we voice our opinions, our thoughts become much more like straightforward. I'm definitely very in favor of this idea or this rule because personally I feel really validated when people listen to me speaking until I'm finished. And that makes me much more comfortable to open up, to get some thoughts off my chest, especially when I'm engaging in some emotionally charged conversations with my family. And I do think that this has helped each of us to think of each other more as a support system.
Okay, your time is
Down
up.
the
I will
line.
stop you there. And we will now move on to part 3. All right, Kevin, that was outstanding. A big thumbs up even before I get into giving you some feedback. So grammatical accuracy, I would say, is about an 8.5. That's probably your worst score out of all of them, which is good news. You almost got all of the grammar exact, except 1 or 2 just slight oddities. Like in that second sentence, you said this idea actually came to happen. It was a little bit off. It was a little bit weird. When you listen back to the recording, you'll catch that and you'll be like, oh yeah, that was a little bit strange. But otherwise, other than 1 or 2 of these just slight oddities, you were speaking very, very well. The other aspect that I would improve, so everything else was just about perfect, okay? So your vocabulary was fantastic. You used a lot of idiomatic language, a lot of very natural language. None of it felt forced or rehearsed or templated. You described the idea very well. Content-wise, I would recommend decreasing the redundancy. So there were certain ideas that you kind of repeated multiple times. So for instance, you said that we always got into a heated debate. People were speaking out of turn. It was a shouting match. People were scoffing at each other. So I think that, you spent a little bit too much time on that. I think you could have stopped with about half as much content and I would have been absolutely fine. And then just using your time very effectively to give more details and potentially some examples of this rule in your home. Could you just take maybe 15 seconds and give me a couple of sentences for an example of this rule actually in your home?
Yes. So I guess perhaps one example would be when a person, like one of us, is sharing with each other about some of our struggles, then the listeners they just rushed to conclusions, or they were a little bit too premature with giving the speaker the advice, like some unsolicited advice.
So here, Kevin, what I mean, I'll give you an idea of what I mean here more specifically, so that you're kind of in the same train of thought. So I would do something like this. 2 weeks ago, my sister wanted to talk to me and my parents about respecting her privacy. And because we used the talking pillow, we were able to understand her concerns and give her valuable feedback. And she was very satisfied at the end of the conversation. So that would be a specific example of this talking in turn in an actual example. Are you following what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm following what you mean.
Yeah. So giving it that sense of realism, that visual kind of empathetic context, right? That's what you want to create. So take out the redundancy. And, Kevin, here, and listen up, everybody. If you're speaking like Kevin, you're going to get a great score. Like, you're going to score between 8 and 9. Okay, so for sure, an examiner is scoring you somewhere between 8 and 9. I would probably place that at an 8.5. But here, of course, I'm always pushing for better and better. We can all improve, right? So to improve, that's what I would do, Kevin, is just take out some of that redundancy, go for a little bit more detail, go for some real life examples to really drive that point home, or this concept home with your audience. By the way, it's usually not a talking pillow. You kind of had me smiling there. I pictured your family hugging this pillow, and I don't know if I would choose a pillow. I think it's maybe a little bit hard to take a person seriously if they're hugging a pillow while they're talking, but sure, why not? Whatever works. Do you know what people usually use? The common item that people use it's an age-old tradition. Tribes and communities of people have historically used this in their villages and so forth for thousands of years. Do you know what it is?
I really don't. I'm sorry. Please enlighten me.
It's not a talking pillow. I wonder if anybody in the chat has. It's called a talking stick. It's a talking stick. Juan Pablo says Breaking Bad is the talking pillow, but no, it's actually a talking stick. So there's like a special stick. Sometimes it's carved, it's painted. It's a beautiful keepsake of the family, and it's called the talking stick. And you pass this talking stick around, and whoever's holding the talking stick has authority. And there's also this kind of sense of, if somebody speaks out of turn, then the person holding the talking stick has the opportunity to lean over and give them a good whack with the stick, right? So that's the other reason. Hopefully we don't, because of course aggression is not a conducive attitude, but it's a talking stick, Kevin. Okay.
Yes, thank you for sharing that with me.
All right. Otherwise, it was really good. Before you go, Kevin, I'm going to just emphasize some of your expressions here. So everybody pay attention to some of these collocations. It's great to learn these from Kevin. Kevin's also an English teacher, by the way, and a good one, I'm sure, at that. I would be privileged to be your student, Kevin. So I hope that there are some people out there in your locality listening and getting a hold of you when they have the chance. So brilliant idea is a good collocation here. Speak in turn is a very nice expression here. Heated debate is a very good expression to use in this context. Speaking out of turn, the opposite of speaking in turn, is a very good expression. Raised our voice is a nice expression as well. Shouting match. By the way, everybody, as I'm highlighting these, you should be repeating these. Let's show everybody together here, Kevin. So just repeat me. Brilliant idea.
Brilliant idea.
Speak in turn.
Speak in turn.
Speak out of turn.
Speak out of turn.
Heated debate.
Heated debate.
Shouting match.
Shouting match.
Raised our voice.
Raise our voice.
This idea materialized.
This idea materialized.
Exercise composure.
Exercise composure.
Straightforward thoughts.
Straightforward thoughts.
Feel validated.
Feel validated.
Emotionally charged conversation.
Emotionally charged conversations.
So these were some of the many great expressions and collocations and phrases that you used, and absolutely the examiner is catching all of those, and when they're used correctly in context is what you have done, you're going to get a great band score. So nicely done, Kevin, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you for your praises as always, Mr. Adrian.
All right, Kevin, have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon, hopefully, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye, Kevin. All right, that was Kevin Anahita with tons of thumbs up, as it is well deserved. Okay, let's reach out to somebody else here who has not had a chance. Juan, also in our chat here, did not have a chance yesterday. So Juan says, sup? Juan, are you ready? Let's see if Juan is here with us, and then we can connect with Juan and listen to what kind of a good rule Juan has in his home to help everyone.
Hello, Adrian.
Hi, how are you, Juan?
I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm also doing fantastic, as long as everybody is following my house rules. Right? Okay, Juan, let's do this. I am curious to hear what you have come up with for this. So okay. Here we go. I'll start you off, and then just like with Kevin, nice and steady, right? It's step by step. Here we go. So describe a good rule in your home. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
One regulation that applies in my house for my older brother, my sister Claudia, and me is whoever cooks does not wash the dishes. Well, this is very straightforward. Whoever cooks like a stew, a barbecue, or anything doesn't have to wash the pots, spoons, knives, forks, plates used during the eating time, even in Tupperwares. My sister came up with this idea 5 years ago because she saw that someone sometimes would get stuck with a lot of work and chores at the house. So this way we share the burden a little bit more. And at that time we were all busy studying and with work. Now we are all busy as well, so this is a really good rule. When it comes to the results, we all know that chores take a lot of time sometimes, and We all are adults here, and we are aware of this. And this way, sharing the burden and sharing the work in the house uh, makes the house gets tighter faster and with less effort. Um, I think this is a very good idea and everyone's on board. Maybe in the future we can improve this by getting a dishwasher and maybe some other better appliances like an electric oven that I really like. I don't know why for some reason, but I think this could make
Okay, your time is
everything.
up. I will stop you there,
Thank you.
and we will now go on to part 3. That was really good, Juan. I really liked how you just said thank you at the end when I kind of interrupted you, and you realized, okay, I answered it. It's enough. He's interrupting me to get me to go to part 3 now. And instead of looking at me all weird and being all shocked, like, hey, I was still talking, you realize, no, this is the IELTS. It's got a time limit. That guy's doing his job. Adrian's just doing his job, the examiner. So thank you. You said, okay, thank you. Right, I'm done. I like
Yeah,
that. I really like that. Thank you right there. I've never really, thought of telling people to put that in at the end if you're getting interrupted like that. But it's good. It's recognizing the situation. So absolutely. So whoever
hmm
heard that, I recommend it. If you are doing this and it's often the situation and you get interrupted at the end, just signal that, okay, you're done. Thank you. Right? That's good.
yeah. It can get awkward. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, of course, when we interrupt each other, right? That's why we either have a talking stick, like Kevin said, or we have to use our words to signal each other. Okay, so the start was a little bit weird. One regulation that applies in my house, I thought it was maybe too technical. It was almost like we're talking about, some kind of a workplace where regulation is to wear steel-toed boots before going to the job site. So it was almost a bit too technical for this context, but it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna fail you or give you a band 5. It was just a little bit unnatural, right? So sometimes if
Yeah.
you can't really think of a natural way to paraphrase it, then it's just best to repeat the topic of the cue card, right? Like one rule, because afterwards you're using such nice language anyways that you don't want to really use unnatural language unnecessarily. There's no point. Okay.
Yeah, I see.
Your band score, I think, would be like an easy 7.5 to 8 for that. I really liked detail. Detail is definitely a sure way to get better scores, everybody. So here, Juan naturally said, applies in my house for my older brother, my sister Claudia. I liked how you just kind of threw her name in. It was random, but it made it personable. Personable means feeling kind of human, feeling approachable. And as soon as you mention a name like that, as your listener, I'm like, oh, Juan's got a sister named Claudia, right? And it gives it this human sense, this real sense, and it's natural. It's good communication. So my sister Claudia and me is whoever cooks does not wash the dishes. And then you said like cooking a barbecue afterwards, washing pots, forks, even Tupperware. I think you kind of got lost in the kitchen utensils, the kitchen paraphernalia there a little. I'm like, okay, I hope you don't list all the different types of paraphernalia in your kitchen, but sure, you were thinking of what to say next. Then you said my sister came up with this idea. Again, some really nice use of language, everybody, just like with Kevin, came up with this idea. Share the burden is a really good one. Everyone's on board, another very nice expression. Learn these, everyone. Use these. We'll repeat these in just a moment. Okay, so where can you improve? We can always improve with content, right?
hmm
And content can be improved in 2 places in part 2, Juan. One is while you're planning, and the second one is while you're speaking, right? And while you're planning, you have to really think about these what, why, hows. And while you're speaking, especially when you have good English, like in your case or Kevin's case, always question yourself and think about those low-hanging fruit, those easy responses. I liked your response. I liked your answer, but I do feel like there were a couple of key pieces missing. And a lot of these house rules, they're common to people. So a lot of us have these house rules. I had this house rule. I don't have it in my home right now. Kids are still too small, but I did have this rule, the same rule that you just described, in university with my roommates. Because we decided that we would sometimes cook for each other to make life more enjoyable, more efficient for studying, etc. And then we had this rule of whoever cooks doesn't do the dishes, right? Now, I feel like you missed some of the main ideas of why this rule is. I could be wrong. I could be biased here and kind of going from my own perspective, but I think if I say it, you'll also kind of be like, yeah, maybe. So what is the reason for this rule? One is to share the burden, but I think there are some other very clear and good reasons to have this type of a rule. What would be another really good kind of explanation to give for this rule, Juan, of whoever cooks doesn't do the dishes? What do you achieve by this rule? There's something that you specifically achieve when you have this rule, which is really good.
Someone saves time.
You're saving time, but you're also doing something else. Really put yourself into the situation. If you know that you don't have to clean the pots and the pans and the dishes after you've finished cooking, then what does that do for you?
Maybe I can do a better job. I don't know. Or maybe
Absolutely. You're encouraged to do a better job of cooking, right? So you're not worried about the dishes, so you're going to invest some of that time and energy into making a better meal, making maybe an extra dish, making a dessert. Sure, absolutely. What's another reason?
I don't know.
So probably you're exactly so. Fuang and Ghazi say this as well: participation and encouragement. If you know that you don't have to clean up after you've cooked, you're more motivated to cook, right? So it's more likely that you're going to cook a meal for your family and you're going to take turns cooking meals because you know that you don't have a monstrous amount of work, but that the work is shared. So in this way, you're happier to cook and you're more likely to do it. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So some of these reasons for this rule I felt were kind of missing beyond just sharing the burden. So when you're planning your ideas, kind of, think about 2 or 3 possible reasons for what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Try that. Try to give me a sentence. Like try to give me a correlative, like a not only but also. Not only is this rule good, but also it's good because based on what we just said. Okay. Try it when you're ready.
Okay. I think this rule is great because not only it makes us save time, but also it encourages us to do a better job and to even have a specific time, for example, for lunch. And this way it makes everything more efficient and everything is improved.
Okay, not bad. We'll work on it a little bit. I'll give you a sentence as well, and then just repeat after me. So, and this is for everybody. We learn through each other. So I'm not, Juan is doing a great job here, and I hope everybody else is thinking and repeating and coming up with these sentences. So here's one. Juan, try this. Not only is this a good rule because it saves us time and energy, but it also encourages us to cook more often. Before having this rule, I cooked maybe once a week, and now I cook 2 or 3 times a week, including dessert.
Not only this rule to save time, but also cook more often. For example, in my case, I used to cook maybe once a week, but now I cook 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, exactly. You see, so it's there. You just have to kind of think about it and then put it all together, really visualize it, right?
Yeah.
All right, Juan, I will let you go. Get back to the kitchen, cook everybody a nice meal, get your brother, your sister on the dishes, and then we'll talk again soon, okay?
I wanted to ask you something. I mean, I talked to some other member a couple of days ago, and she wanted to know if during part 2, if we can see the time or the stopwatch.
No. Very good question. No, you cannot. There is usually a visible clock in the room somewhere. In my case, when I took the exam last time, I couldn't see it in the speaking interview. I couldn't see a clock anywhere. The clock was with the examiner. They either have a stopwatch or they have a watch on them, or it's on their recording device, but you don't see it. I couldn't see it. So it was just kind of like start, stop. And I wouldn't encourage that anyway. So even if you did see a clock, I wouldn't recommend using it. Ideally, to answer this question really well, Juan, so the simple answer is no. And the perfect situation, you're practicing part 2 at least 20, 30 times before you go to your speaking interview with all of these different topics like ideas, people, places, objects, and so forth. And that 1 to 2 minutes is completely intrinsic to you. So you can feel that 1 to 2 minutes. We should all be able to feel what it is to speak for 60 seconds or 120 seconds. One last point on this one, the reason why it's not a good idea to try to track the time is because, remember, the examiner says, I will give you 1 to 2 minutes to speak. So it's not necessarily 2 minutes. It could be just 1. It could be 90 seconds. It could be 100 seconds. So it's when the examiner feels that you have either done a good job, you've gone off topic, you've completed the answer, they will stop you. So if you're looking at a watch or a clock or trying to figure out 2 minutes, it might get really awkward because you'll be like, oh, but wait, that wasn't 2 minutes, right? The clock on the wall says I still have 20 seconds, right? So I think that's why they don't have a clock. They don't want to get into this like argument with candidates saying like, why did you stop me 20 seconds before, right? It's like, no, it doesn't matter, right? Feel that time. Okay.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help for when we are practicing, either, right?
Right. So when you're practicing, I would have a clock there, and I would definitely see the time, and I would focus on the content more than the time, and I would match the 90 second to 2 minutes to what I'm saying. Okay. So there's this weird advice that is very prevalent, very common on the internet, where people say, just speak until they stop you. I don't think that's a good idea. I've never done that. I've always gotten a band 9 in the speaking section. I think if you just keep going until they stop you, it gets into very awkward, strange conversations, and it actually hurts your score. So I don't think that's good advice. I think the best advice is practice speaking between 90 to 120 seconds. And at any point between 90 to 120 seconds where you feel that you have answered all the questions on the card clearly and the points for this idea, then you can stop. If you've done it in 90, stop. If you've done it in 100, stop. 120, stop. Right? So aim for that kind of range between 90 and 120 seconds. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, here's another just it's we could time. If people are like, well, why would I, and it's such a waste, and I do IELTS once in my life and then I never have to use this technique or this strategy again. It's not true. So practicing the 90 seconds to 120 second presentation time is extremely effective for business students because it's also the elevator pitch time for a lot of people, right? If you're into making short videos like reels for Instagram and so on that are like 1 minute in length, again, practicing the 90 seconds to 120 seconds is good because after you edit the video, you can usually get it to 60 seconds, right? So practicing this time limit is actually very effective for a lot of different life contexts, not just IELTS, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Good question, Juan. I bet you probably weren't expecting that big explanation, but that's what you got.
Okay.
So, all right. Okay. Good question, Juan. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Jim. See you later.
You're welcome. Bye, Juan. All right. Good question by Juan there. Absolutely. All right. Let's take somebody else that we maybe have not heard from in the last little bit. Thu. Sure. Are you ready? Thu, one of our premium members and channel members, I believe, as well. So, Thu, if you're there, let's hear your voice. I think we're going back to Vietnam because Kevin was there as well. And I believe Thu is there also. Okay.
Hello, sir.
How are you, Thu?
I'm doing great today. How
Good.
about you?
I am also doing quite well. Thank you for asking, Thu. Okay, Thu, are you ready to answer this cue card?
Yes, I'm ready.
Awesome. I like it. Affirmative. Okay, Thu, I will start you off. The questions are on YouTube on your screen, so you can reference them as needed. Here we go. So describe a good rule in your home. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
In my home, my mom has set a rule where that we are scheduled to do the housework. As seen, my mom suffered a backache, and my sister and I have grown up and are able to do the housework by ourselves. And at first, I'm a little bit uncomfortable when she gives that rule, because before that time I don't have to do much housework. But when we have to do that for about 2 weeks, I have conditioned to it, and I like that rules because it helps us more. It gives me more time to relax, and my mom and my dad have more, and the house is tidy and clean, and it helps my sister and I to develop the independence and the self-discipline. My mom. After that, my mom's backache is improved, and my dad is more disciplined. That he no longer staying in the living room and watch TV, and he went to the kitchen and do the cooking with my mom's, and she scheduled that in the evening, my mom do the cooking dinner, and I wash the dishes, and my sister do the cleaning, the mess after she cooked, and my dad is prepares the desserts for us, and then we have a night watching TV together and enjoy the time.
Okay, I will stop you there. Your time is up, and we will now continue with part 3. All right, dude, that was really good. All right, great effort. I love how you just keep going and going and going and not give up and just give more details and more details. And by the end, your dad is making dessert. And I'm like, all right, dad's in the kitchen making dessert. Of course, that's what you have to do. So look at your notes, look at the questions, okay? Instead of just kind of, going off into kind of stranger, uncanny places, look at the questions. So instead of going on about like we're watching movies and dad's making dessert, maybe check out this last question of like, what is your opinion about it? So you can say, I think this is a good rule and it's fair. I think it is definitely time for my sister and I to share the housework. Okay, remember that word I was mentioning in the chat, chores, right? Can you repeat that after me? Chores.
chores.
My sister and I have taken over the house chores.
My sister and I have taken the house chores.
My sister and I have taken over the house chores.
My sister and I have taken the house chores.
Have taken over.
My sister and I have taken over the house chores.
Yeah, taken
I
over.
forgot over.
Yeah, and the over is important here because it's actually a phrasal verb. Take over means to gain control. So my sister and I have taken over the house chores. Okay, just one more time through. I'm going to say it one more time through. Just repeat after me. My sister and I have taken over the house chores like sweeping, washing the windows, doing the dishes.
My sister and I have taken the house chores.
No, stop. Taken over. One more time. Taken over. Don't forget the over. My sister and I have taken over the house chores like sweeping, washing the windows, and doing the dishes.
My sister and I have taken over the chores like sweeping, washing the windows, and doing the dishes.
You still forgot the word over. You need to remember the word over. You have to include the word over. One more time through. I'm not giving up on you. My sister and I have taken over the house chores like sweeping, washing the windows, and doing the dishes.
My sister and I have taken over the house chores like sweeping, washing the windows, and doing the dishes.
Thu, excellent. Okay. Thu, just that's what you want to do is like I just did, just keep repeating and repeating until you have all the pieces. The reason why, Thu, so I would give you probably like a band 6 to a band 6.5. You have some really good English. You have great pronunciation. You have good vocabulary, but your sentence structure is awkward. You often have these half sentences or missing words from your sentences, like the over. I'll give you another example of that. You said, we have to do it for 2 weeks, right? So after having done this for 2 weeks, after having done this for 2 weeks, you said, I am conditioned to it. I have become conditioned to it. Okay? So this seems to be one of the common mistakes in your speaking is that you're missing words and you're using the incorrect word form, like present verb instead of the past verb. And that's going to lower your score. Even though I can understand what you're saying, it's kind of coming across awkward and grammatically incorrect. And that's costing you a lot of bands. So if you improve that, then you're going to go from a band 6, 6.5 to a band 7, 7.5 very, very quickly. Okay? So I have become conditioned to it. You become conditioned. Okay? All right? So just repeat this sentence after me, Thu. But after having done this for 2 weeks, I have become conditioned to it. Thu,
Sir, I can't hear you.
Okay, try it one more time. But after having done this for 2 weeks, I have become conditioned to it.
But after having done this for 2 weeks, I have become conditioned to it.
Much better. That's the correct grammar and language, okay? Thu, that's really good, okay? I'm happy to hear your voice, and I want you to come back and practice again. Lots and lots of repetition, okay? Filling in those missing words and using the correct word forms, okay?
Okay.
All right, good
Thank
job,
you, sir.
Thu. You're super welcome. Keep up the good practice. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Okay.
All right, bye, Thu. All right, that was through. Give Thu a thumbs up too. She had some really good language. She had some really great vocabulary there. But of course, you do have to really pay attention to the form of the words and making sure that you don't have a lot of missing words. You have to finish your ideas and make sure that you have all the right elements or right vocabulary, lexical resource. Otherwise, it will hurt your score. Okay, Saidislam, are you ready? Let's see if Said is there. Saidislam, if you're there, give me a sign. Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Saidislam.
Oh, hi, Mr. Adrian. How are you doing?
I am doing quite well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Well, I'm great. I'm so much excited to be your guest.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered. Saidislam, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, right? Before the new year, I think.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good. Well, Happy New Year to you. Hope it's going well.
Yeah, too. I actually taken IELTS already and got an oral score of 7.
Nice.
So,
Congrats.
yeah,
Saidislam,
thank
send me a testimonial. Send me an email. I would love to have your testimonial and include you in one of our success stories. If you're up for it. If you're like, nah, I don't want that, then that's fine too. I
Of
understand.
course. Your channel helped me a lot, of course.
Cool. Do you want to? So you're back here to practice. Are you going to take the test again, or simply just
No,
practice?
I'm actually planning to retake it. Right now I'm aiming for an 8, so therefore I'm like practicing for it.
Good for you. Absolutely. Why not, right? I mean, it's no rush. And if you're
Yeah.
going to practice and improve your English, then might as well do it in a structured way with proof of concept through the IELTS certificate, right? So it makes sense in my books for sure. Okay, well, let's do this cue card. Ready?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. I'll start you off. Here we go. Describe a good rule in your home. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Oh, okay. I think rules and the sort of things that regulate the house and the members of the family in one's house are created to make life easier, obviously, because the reason why rules exist is obviously to make life more pragmatic, more effective. So yeah, and in my country, not only in my house, but also in my country, there is one common rule that you meet in literally every house. So it goes like this. So if you are not older, if you're not the oldest member of your family, you can't start your meal before anyone else who is older than you. So you have to wait until the oldest comes or the older people come, and only after that, once they start eating their meal, you can start after them. So it's sort of a showing respect towards senior people, and it's a very good thing, I guess. And I believe that it's something that would really instill in children, in youth, really good sense of respect and how to treat older people. And in our house is also not an exception. So we also have that rule and we follow it. And even when a child is like 30 or 40 years old, that child is also a child of some people, right? So that person also has his parents, his mother and father. So even after that, even in that case, that person waits for his family, for his parents, for anyone who is older than him, unless he's the oldest member of his family. And so yeah, we usually do this.
Okay.
Not usually, I would say
Your time is
just
up.
quite often.
I will stop you there, and we will now go on to part 3. All right, Saidislam. Yeah, 775, definitely, I think, a fair assessment for your speaking. Here's the good news, though, Saidislam. I do think that you can get much closer to a 758 very, very quickly. Okay, so you're actually quite smart in thinking, maybe I'll do the IELTS again and hopefully get a better score. What did you get in your speaking in your test?
It was 7.
It was 7, yeah. Yeah, I think 7 is a fair mark. I think your speaking kind of bounces between 7, 7.5, so between good and kind of moving towards very good. But I think you could be at the moving towards very good to actually being very good. I have one strong criticism for your response right away. Can you guess what that is? I think some of your peers in the chat might be able to guess this. What do you guys think is going to be my strongest criticism of Saidislam's response to this cue card? And one of the reasons why I would give you a 7 and not a 7.5 or an 8. I'm wondering if other people are going to identify this this shortcoming or this inadequacy, if you will, to this cue card. Okay, Juan is definitely on the same page as me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Romelia is the same. So what I'm trying to show you here, Saidislam, is it's not going to be just my opinion, but it's going to be the opinion of your peers and your examiners as well. And Ghazi is saying it too, more or less. So they're all kind of thinking it the same way, but just in a little bit of a different perspective, but same idea. You didn't really get into the rule until you were like 1 minute into your time. You were kind of shooting around the idea instead of targeting the idea. You spent too much time describing the importance of house rules, the commonality of house rules among people, or the similarities shared within a culture, within a country. And it's not really what you're being asked here. It doesn't mean you can't talk about that, Saidislam. You absolutely can say it, right? But you have to say it much faster and much more concise. Are you following me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to be detailed. Like, you have to remind us all what country you're in. So which country has this tradition?
Oh, yeah, it's Uzbekistan, yeah.
Uzbekistan, right?
And many countries in Central Asia, yeah.
A lot of people are not going to know that, right? Maybe some Uzbek people will be like, okay, from his name, I think, yeah, exactly, right. Especially in this context, we're all kind of like, which country, right? So, so you need to really pay attention to the fact that your examiners, your listeners, are not you, and they might not be able to. So that's my biggest critique. If you change that, so if you talk about this in a much more concise, direct way from the beginning, and then give more details to this, then you're going to really improve the content, and your score, I guarantee you, your score will go immediately up half a band. So it will immediately be boosted to a 7.5 instead of a 7. Also think about the why, right? So here you said, okay, the rule is that a person must allow their elders to start eating first. It was a little bit tricky to describe this rule too. That was also another part of the 7. So you have to be very careful with the way you use the word older, oldest, elder in this context to clearly describe it. Some of your word use was incorrect. You said the oldest ones start eating their meal. So here it's tricky. Even for me, I have to think, okay, how would I explain this clearly? So people start their meals according to their age, from oldest to youngest. Can you try that? I'll say it one more time and then repeat after me. So people start their meals according to their age, from oldest to youngest.
People start their meals according to their ages, from oldest to youngest.
Yeah, right. So you have to be really, really careful when describing this. All right. Now, another concept here, of course, is the why. So why meals? Why in this particular situation? So why do you think and a lot of countries and a lot of societies have had this rule in history of letting the elders begin their meals first? And not only that, but in old tradition, they also had the rule of the elder gets up from the table first. So at the other end of this rule, the eldest person is the first to stand up from the dining table, and the youngest is the last to stand up from the dining table. Why do you think that is? There's a very interesting concept behind this tradition throughout history. And if you can mention this would definitely help to give better content, better English, and more points. So can you tell me that in 1 or 2 sentences? Why this rule? What is the purpose of using food or mealtime for this rule?
There is something else, right? It has nothing to do with respect or something like this.
It does have to do with respect. It's more to do with the fact that it's not a different situation, but it's the situation of food and eating. So why use food and eating as a symbol or a show of respect in this context?
I think food is something that keeps us alive. And like in the past, people used to be warriors, and in order to be strong and effective in the battlefield, they should have been full, and they shouldn't have not been starving or hungry. So so that food kept them strong and alive.
Partly,
But
yeah, that's
I'm not
partly
really
the
sure.
reason. Yeah, that's partly the reason. In some sense, it's actually easier. Food is very instinctual. We all get hungry. We all want to eat, right? So when you're a younger person and you see a nice chicken, roast chicken, or a nice salad in front of you, you have this very strong urge or this desire to sit down and quickly start eating to fulfill, your feeling of hunger, right? So having this rule
Yeah.
teaches self-control, self-restraint,
Yeah, yeah.
and older
Fight
people,
situation.
exactly, and older people tend to have this already because they have gone through this training. So the reason for this rule is also so that younger generations are able to practice self-control and discipline. And I think you used the word discipline, or maybe that was actually Thu that used it in the previous one, discipline. So it teaches a sense of discipline, and through discipline we show respect. Can you just repeat this after me? This rule teaches a sense of discipline, and through discipline, we show respect.
This rule shows a sense of discipline, and through it we show respect or learn respect.
And through this, the younger generation
This younger generation.
learns respect. Okay? One more time. This rule shows a sense of discipline, and through this, the younger generation learns respect.
This rule shows a sense of discipline, and through this rule, younger generations learns respect.
Wonderful. So here, Saidislam, like I said, you did a good job, and a 7 is very solid. A lot of your peers would be super happy to have a 7. They'd be like, hey, if I get a 7 like Saidislam, I'm happy. But of course, you always want to improve. We all do, right? So what you want to do as you're working towards your next IELTS exam is when you have a response like this, record it on your phone, listen to it, and think about ways that you can improve it. Right? So that's what you want to do for future practice, to move from that 7 to an 8. Think about, was this content accurate? Could I have given more details? Could I have been more concise in some parts? Can I use a little bit better language in some parts? And really focus on those, because that's what it takes to go from 7 to 8 to 9. Okay?
Yeah, I got it.
Got it? All right. I think it's an awesome rule, by the way, and I think we need more of these old traditions in our lives. So it's great, and thank you for sharing, Saidislam. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and please send me that testimonial, okay?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are super welcome. Bye for now, Saidislam. We'll talk again soon.
Bye.
All right, let's give Saidislam a thumbs up. Guys, I'm having so much fun here, especially with this cue card topic. The time has escaped me. But we will be back here on the website in 23 minutes for speaking part 3 that will continue with these topics. So go to aehelp.com and use the join live class button in 23 minutes. And we will practice through the website. It's been working quite nicely over the last few classes, so that's great. Tomorrow also we have the speaking class for premium members through Zoom. If you've decided, hey, it's time to pull the trigger, become a premium member, go to the website and click on the big red button to join the premium version of the course. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access right there. students, thank you so much. Great participation from our members, our viewers. Awesome. Thank you, volunteers. You were fantastic. You really were. You shared some interesting house rules with us, like the talking pillow and letting our elders begin their meals first. I hope to see all of you with me in the next class on the website, aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. These are the websites that power these live classes. It is a one-time payment to get lifetime access to the premium package there. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria here in Canada, and I'm back with you on the website in another live class in just over 20 minutes. Until then, I'm Adrian. Bye for now.